and welcome to our third installment of Conversations with the Tufenkian Foundation. My guest today is a longtime friend and supporter of the foundation, Judith Saryan. Welcome, Judith.
Thank you, Rupen, and thank you for having me to speak about the Tufenkian Foundation, to speak about the work that we're all doing in Artsakh together, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Awesome. So just a little background, Judith was born in Delaware. She graduated from Wellesley College in Massachusetts with a major in economics, and she spent most of her career in the financial industry, most recently at Eaton Vance Management, where she was vice president and portfolio manager. A few years back, she left her successful career and she did so to pursue her passion for literature, for history, and all things Armenian. She's worked with various Armenian organizations, such as the Armenian International Women's Association and NASR, the National Association for Armenian Studies and Research. She's helped publish a number of English translations of famed Armenian author Zabel Yessayan and has worked on several different projects. So it's a pleasure to have you here, Judy, and I'm also looking forward to this conversation. You and your husband, Victor, have been longtime friends and supporters of the Tufenkian Foundation. I guess it'd be interesting to know how you got involved with the foundation.
Well, it started, I think, back in 2017, but it could have been earlier. My sister and I had come to Armenia to be election observers, and we had, I knew about the Tufenkian Foundation and Antranik Kasparian, and of course I knew about Maro Matosyan and the Women's Support Center. So we decided to go on a trip with Tufenkian to Artsakh, and it was an amazing experience. I had been to Artsakh twice before, but this was a little different because we really, got to go into villages and meet the people living there and hearing about what their needs were, what their dreams were. It was very moving experience. And I remember I was talking with various people about some of their ideas, and I was getting very excited about possibilities, hope, and potential projects that the Tufenkian Foundation could be involved in.
That's great. And last year, thanks to your generous donation, we gave away 33 biology laboratory kits in the Marduni region, specifically in Artsakh. And I think it'd be very interesting to know how that project came about. There's a very interesting connection that some people might not even know about. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, there's a very interesting connection. So I have gotten to know the grandson of Zabel Yessayan. His name is Alexander Yessayan, and the great-grandson, Tikran Yessayan. And I've gotten to know them because of the work that I've done, along with others, on publishing works by Zabel Yessayan in the English language, which we've done through AIWA, the Armenian International Women's Association. And we did our first publications in 2014, and then we continued and did another one in 2016. We did In the Ruins, which is an extremely important book. And I have to say, people have been very enthusiastic about these works, about the translations, that it's really made a difference in terms of people's awareness of this incredible writer. She was not only a great writer, but also a social activist, a peace activist, a person who had who traveled around the world, who'd spent years studying in France. So she really had a broad understanding of literature, and she incorporated her own Armenian experience into her many works, and was really a leading figure during some of the most difficult times in Armenian history. I can even remember bringing the first translation to you at the Heidernik building, and how enthusiastic you were. I wanted to also say that we had done a project in Artsakh, also promoting the history and knowledge of Zabel Yessayan through with the ombudsman
Yes.
in Artsakh. And we did an essay contest based on the Gardens of Silidar, her biography, her memoir of her childhood years. And we even did a t-shirt contest working with COAF. So it was a really, or TUMO, sorry, working with TUMO. So it was really a way to introduce Zabel Yessayan to Artsakh. Then I found out, then I reached out to Alexander Yessayan because I wanted to get to know him. And he was very enthusiastic. In fact, he came with us, he and his son, Digran, came with us to Artsakh with another Tufenkian trip. Wow. Which was amazing. And and again, he is a biologist, and his son was studying biology in university. And he has also, has been an educator for his whole life. He teaches at the Eaton Vance State University. And he had wanted to develop these lab projects, these lab kits. And he had already come up with with the first, the first one. Right. And he wanted to, he showed it to me. I came to his lab at the Eaton Vance State. He showed me the kit. We were actually with friends from Baltimore who were scientists, and they were very particularly to students in Artsakh. So that's, it's an amazing connection that from Zabel Yessayan, who was also herself an educator, to her grandson and great-grandson, who were all involved in this lab kit project, and that we wanted to introduce to Artsakh, because we thought it's extremely important for young students to have access to this type of experiential learning. Right. To be able to see with their own eyes, to touch with their own hands, to learn science, through the senses. And unfortunately, it's been very difficult in Armenia because lab equipment is so expensive. This idea was basically to have a kit in a box. And then Alexander Yessayan developed a curriculum for each grade. He just one by one, he started working on the grades, first with the 7th grade. I think he's working on higher grades now, so that the kit would be available to the teacher, who could then use the instructions, the curriculum, and then teach this way. And the students then could use the microscope, look at what had the experiment, the results of the experiment, and be able to experience it themselves, firsthand.
Right, and the kits that we rolled out last year, actually, which I'll get into in a little bit, they were made specifically for the 7th grade curriculum, and so the teachers were thrilled to have those in the classroom, so that kids can really have an opportunity to learn in a more hands-on, practical way. And I think it's great that investments into education and science and the sciences are being done, especially in Artsakh. And I think there's also a family connection with your family and the sciences. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's also a really amazing story. My father, he was a genocide survivor, came to the United States at a very young age, about 9 years old, lived in New York City, and studied at night school at CCNY, and was determined to become a chemist. And so he did. He graduated, I think he was about 27 years old. He graduated with a degree in chemistry. And so he worked as a chemist most of his life. And he had a lab, a chemistry lab, right in our garage. And we had a little lock on the door, but of course the 4 kids in the family all knew how to get in. So we would go in there and kind of look around and try to figure out what all these chemicals were. He also took us to his lab. He worked at Allied Kid in Wilmington, Delaware. He had a laboratory, and there was actually a library there that he had developed the library. He was very much, he was a very studious person, really interested in research. So in addition to having this beautiful lab with all this equipment that we would try to, again, figure out what he was doing. But at the same time, he also had this wonderful library, and we used to love to go there. And actually, my sister just reminded me about, how interesting it was, when you would see chemicals with the skull and bones on it. So we knew we weren't supposed to go near that. My two brothers also went into the sciences. So that was also another family connection.
That's great. And as you well know, the kits were an absolute hit with both the students and the teachers throughout Marduni. We actually, through your generous donation, gave away 33 kits to 29 schools, all 29 schools, with 7th graders across Marduni. And because it was such a success, we decided at the Tufenkian Foundation that we'll be expanding the program and we'll be adding chemistry labs, not only for the schools in Marduni, but for all schools across Artsakh. So our new program will ensure that every single school across Artsakh has both a biology and a chemistry laboratory kit. And these are portable kits. They can be used inside the classroom, outside the classroom, and the kids absolutely love the idea. And to do this, we launched an online fundraiser recently, earlier this month actually. And you and your husband have been so generous and have recently decided to pledge a $10,000 matching donation to encourage others to also give to this project. And so every dollar will be matched up to that total. And first and foremost, we're absolutely thankful, grateful for that generosity. But I think I'd also like to know that what was the motivating factor here? Artsakh today is in a very uncertain place, but you have decided to really go above and beyond and give back to Artsakh. What motivated you and your husband to make this move?
Well, as I said, we've been to Artsakh, several times, and we fell in love with Artsakh the first time, and that's why we keep going back. And we think it's extremely important to provide educational resources and tools to the children of Artsakh. As Armenians, for us, education is one of the most important dreams we have for our children. We want to make sure they have the highest quality education. And we felt, especially after the war, these kids are not getting access the way they were before. And it's so important to provide them as much access to high quality education, to the resources they need so that they can learn and have a top-notch opportunities in life. It's just something to me that's just very close to my heart. It was something that our parents always stressed, how important education was. And we felt, and we've always felt that Armenians, really have valued this so highly. So really, it's a combination of our love for Artsakh and our understanding that these kids really deserve the best.
Absolutely. Well, once again, I want to thank you on behalf of the Tufenkian Foundation for your generosity, for your dedication, your commitment to Artsakh and its people. Thank you for this conversation. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, Judy, and I wish you all the health and success.
Thank you, Ruben. Thank you so much. This is a pleasure to be with you today, and best wishes, good luck. We hope that this is a very successful campaign and we'll be able to reach all the schools in Artsakh. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome to Herher Village's Ali Siserian Elementary School in Artsakh's Marduni region. It is one of 29 schools that received portable biology laboratory kits through the Tufenkian for Marduni school program last September. The kits were a hit with the students and the teachers.
Գործնական պարապմունքները երեխաները ավելի մեծ հաճույքով են մասնակցում, որովհետև կարողանում են իրենք տեսնել, կատարել փորձը իրենց ձեռքով, իրենց աչքով ամեն ինչ տեսնում։ Այսպես ավելի հետաքրքիր է անցնում, քան եթե դա սովորական պատմելով անցկացնենք։
Following the program's success in Marduni, we at Tufenkian have decided to provide lab kits to every school in Artsakh, so that all kids can have the opportunity to enhance what they learn in the classroom with real-world first-hand experience. We hope that this initiative will also facilitate a greater interest in the sciences. We are looking to raise $36,500 to provide 120 biology lab kits to the rest of the schools across Artsakh and 153 chemistry lab kits to every school across Artsakh. With your donation, you can ensure that every school across Artsakh has both a biology and a chemistry kit for the students to enjoy and learn through. Give kids in Artsakh the gift of science. Visit our page on ReArmenia to donate today.